Hare Rama. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's Bhagavatam class. This morning we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 8th verse, and verse number 17. Let's see the important devotees. This wonderful opportunity actually in this Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Mahapuran. Actually, we have so much mala in our heart, and Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to purify all the mala. That's why it is called Amala. It is completely pure. We associate with Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the pure sound vibration recorded coming from the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada, especially our beloved founder Acharya. So, it's Krishna's words. Krishna is directly present in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna's Dhamu Bhagati, Dharma Jnana Visa, Kalo Nashta Vishamesha, Purana. So you can see that Srimad Bhagavatam is actually Krishna directly. So if we approach Srimad Bhagavatam with a sincere attitude to be blessed by the message and purify our mala from the contamination of the heart. So Srimad Bhagavatam can actually bless us with so many wonderful instructions and can give us the encouragement and enthusiasm and direction by which we can very safely go back to the body. So that's why taking the Srimad Bhagavatam very seriously is very important. Especially Srila Prabhupada has given the Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day we can hear. It's so nice. And I've seen the Srila Prabhupada disciples, how much attached they are to the mantra. Whenever we visit in US especially, because we find many Prabhupada disciples here. Whenever we go in any temple, we find that very senior disciples, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they very faithfully and with great, very loyalty, great loyalty, faithfully, they will sit through the wonderful morning program and especially Srimad Bhagavatam class and take very sincere part in it. So, the more we give priority to Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, to that degree, Lord will actually Lord will come to us. Hare Krishna, very happy to meet you. What's your name? Yeah? Sorry? Thank you so much. So to degree we give submissive or reception Srimad Bhagavatam, that degree Krishna can be stay in our heart. So there is a verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Shringatam Shraddhaya Nitya Kirantascha Swachestita Kalena Nati Ati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishite Hidi. Shringatam Shraddhaya Nitya. Very sincerely, earnestly, and faithfully we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Shringatam Shraddhaya Nitya. Always. And it says, Kirantascha Swachestita. And one should put effort. Now somebody can say, what effort is it? You can come and sit in Bhagavatam class, not much effort. You simply sit and just hear. So somebody will say, what's the effort? No, the effort, there is still so much effort. One is external effort, that we have to come and present physically. That is one thing. But then there is also effort of, to be submissively receiving the message. And effort in terms of putting ourselves at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and that's our reception. And be willing to receive the instructions. And be willing to mold our life as per that, as per those instructions. Be willing to receive the blessings that is coming. So a lot of effort is required in terms of submitting ourselves. Because the whole process of bhakti is nothing but submission, surrender. So that's the whole effort is about. How we can submit to Guru Shri Parampara, how we can submit to the master Shri Parampara. So that's the effort we need to put. So one effort is external, but another effort is internal. Internal effort is of submission, which is more difficult. Because false ego makes us identify with so many things of this world. And then when we even come for hearing, then still the resignations still remain. And then what happens? Then based on those resignations and attachment and aversions, then our mind keeps wandering so much. We are still not ready to receive the message. And we still think there are so many things which I have to worry about, being anxious about, think about. So it becomes very difficult to receive the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nevertheless, coming to Srimad Bhagavatam, sitting and hearing it still is beneficial. But the point is, one has to take his own internal effort also, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Today morning I was thinking, many times when we hear the lecture in the washroom, sometimes I think I'm occupied with my own thoughts, not able to hear much. Today I thought I'm going to hear very word now. They just gave a task challenge to me. And I could see my hearing was much, much better. I could hear a lot of it. So otherwise what happens? It goes on, but we are in our own world of designations. But there are so many things to think about. So to hear is a very important point. Like yesterday Gaurang Prabhu was telling, so the chanting time is not the time of thinking. It's a time of hearing, thanking the Lord and hearing. So I was thinking, it's a very striking point that how many times we fail to do this effort of hearing. A lot of sound is going on, but how much I am trying to hear. And for that hearing, we need to have faith and submission. Faith that yes, Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Kripa. If I hear the holy name, that will give me Krishna in my heart. If I hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then I will have Krishna in my heart. And then only I can live in this world of dualities, this world of Maya. Then only I will have support. Then only I will have help. Then only I will have direction. So when we are convinced of this, then only we will be submissive. Faith is required. And then that faith and also understanding the awkward situation. We have no other option. Understanding our situation is material is so awkward. We are so much vulnerable in this material world. Because padam 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 narration. It's not about the external danger. The danger is that we tend to forget Krishna. That's more greater danger. Forgetful of Lord, or being forgetful of the Lord. So Maya is going to work 24 hours, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, month is 55 days in a year, and continuing like that. So Maya never takes any rest. She's always going to, and her attempt is to make us forget. Because Krishna Bhuliya, Jeev, Bhagavan Satya, Nikatastha Mata. So basically, as soon as there is forgetfulness, synonym for being in Maya. So the effect of Maya is that we become forgetful of Krishna. And essence of devotion service is remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the essence of devotion service. So that's why it's very important for us to make this internal effort also to hear. So Prabhupada has told many times, sit and hear, sit and hear. It takes a lot of effort. Because there's not much effort. You have to sit and hear. What effort is there? No, the effort is there because the submission is required. Because when you have submission in hearing, when you are having Krishna, then you are more encouraged and enthused to hear more and more. So if you are hearing nicely means our taste for hearing will increase. Our desire to hear more will increase. That will be automatic. So if you are not, like today morning Rajesh was saying where after chanting, then you want to just go and take rest. Because you're so exhausted. You say the jaw is paining, mouth is dried up, you're completely tired. You're saying that that's not the desired effect of chanting. Chanting or hearing of the Lord has to make some very positive impact in the heart of the sadhak. You should become more rejuvenated to actually serve more, become more excited, more jubilant, blissful. That is the result of chanting. But why it's like that? Because we don't come with the right attitude. Submission is right. So anyway, the point is we all have to make that effort. We should have to make that effort. Think about it. How can I hear better? How can I submit more? And if we do that, then the same holy name, the same message of Bhagavatam will have much more deeper impact in our lives. So we have got everything, all the facilities. Only thing is we have to not miss to take advantage of that. We have to take full advantage of whatever we have got as gifted. It's very important. So that's why a lot of effort, that is internal effort, is also required. External effort is required, but internal effort also is required. Having submissive attitude to this message of Srimad Bhagavatam, to holy name, and to be able to hear that. So today's verse, which we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto, 8th chapter. So this is a very beautiful I mean, series of verses going on. Oh, 17 and 18, I think. I read. Oh, 19, sorry. 19. So he says, so I have to read this also. 17, I will just read the translation. She also was breathing very heavily and she did not know the factual remedy for this painful situation. Not finding any remedy, she said to her son, my dear son, don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. Anyone who inflicts pains upon others suffers himself from that pain. Suniti said, my dear boy, whatever has been spoken by Suruchi is so because the king, your father, does not consider me his wife or even his maidservant. He feels ashamed to accept me. Therefore, it is a fact that you have taken birth from the womb of an unfortunate woman, and by being fed from her breast, you have grown. And she says, my dear boy, whatever has been spoken by Suruchi, your stepmother, although very harsh to hear, is factual. Therefore, if you desire at all to sit on the same throne as your stepbrother, Uttama, then you give up your invest attitude. Immediately try to execute the instructions of your stepmother. Without further delay, you must engage yourself in worshipping the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So, very nice guidance is being given by Mother Suniti here. So I was hearing the lecture of General Bhakti Rasayan Maharaj, so very beautifully spoke on this same verse. And I felt that I generally lack those qualities and the way Maharaj put up very nicely. And I felt that it's good to contemplate and think about it and try to see how can I implement it like this wonderful instructions Maharaj is telling. So I'll try to a little bit repeat from there also. And then you will see some more insights on that. So one other thing Maharaj was saying very nicely that actually here Suniti is agreed and she is even more agreed than he was. She is breathing heavily now. Or maybe equally agreed, but she was also agreed so much. But with cool head, she is able to give good advice. She is not affected by the emotions. So I'm kind of paraphrasing also. I might not be exactly like, but I'm just trying to explain it. So, so the point is that she is not affected by the emotion, but rather she is able to give good guidance, cool. And what she's telling what your mother has told is true. That yes, you should go to worship the Supreme Lord and get benediction of the Lord. If you ever desire to sit on the throne of the Father, you do that. So what she's saying is true. It's not wrong. So Maharaj is saying that actually this is the attitude of a devotee. You're saying that if there are some instructions coming, good instructions coming, one should be able to take it from anyone. If there is some Satopadesh coming from anybody, if anybody is telling about our fault, you're saying if it is right, we should not accept. We should accept it. So you are saying that he was giving his one example. That there was one person who would always speak ill about devotees. He would always keep finding fault. So and so for a long time he couldn't find much fault. So then one fine day he finally got it. And he said, hey, what will people, you say something and you don't follow things. What? You people keep talking about, go puja, don't do Govatya, and you yourself are wearing, this shoes made up of leather. And then Maharaj thought, what he's saying is true. Actually, it's actually encouraging cow killing. Immediately, Maharaj took that shoes, nice shoes he had, immediately took and put in the dustbin. That person was shocked. He's saying, oh, he just ready to listen and immediately threw it. Maharaj told, I thought what he's saying is correct. Why should I have any tark vitark? Why should I argue with him? What he's saying is true. So Maharaj said, actually, it is not easy. Another example is saying that once in previous, before maybe just begin to devotee and just come in Krishna Master. So that time, he was taking cake from some place. And then he said there was also sometimes in cakes eggs are there. So when he was eating, then somebody said, what do people do? You people talk so much about no meat eating and this and all, but you yourself are eating, meat only. I guess put it this way. And also, I had just taken a bite, and as soon as he said, I thought it is correct. What he's saying is correct. I did not know that eggs can do it. If having egg, then I thought should I eat it? And Maharaj said it was very delicious, but still I threw it in the dustbin. So he was saying this point that if some right words are coming, I mean, if there is some truth, even if somebody is envious of us, even if somebody is, enemical to us, he's just doing it not properly. He's just trying to find fault. It doesn't matter because if it is good for us, if there is truth in it, then we should be able to take it. You are telling this is very important point, and same thing here she is doing. So Suruchi, she spoke in quite being envious actually. To Dhruva. It's very clear. It's not like there is doubt about it. It's very clear, and the way she spoke. And Maharaj was saying the way Suruchi spoke, if we put ourselves in that situation, is really unbearable. Because she is telling, if you are, that means the womb of your mother is not proper womb. Because only if you take birth from my womb, then only. So that means your birth is inauspicious because you have taken birth from the womb of another mother. So they're kind of directly, insulting mother also, insulting the mother, insulting, him also by saying that when you die, because it's indirectly saying you die, because then you take birth from mine, then you become eligible. So how much insult, how much envy. But Suruchi, even though he spoke so harshly, so unjustly, Suniti, in contrast, yes, she also became angry, but she did not have the same kind of response or which in any ordinary person may. But she actually took that good instruction. She could think from the cool. Oh yeah, she acknowledging also that yes, I'm being an elected wife, of your father, and somehow he's attached to Suchi more. She knows all that, and the way she's spoken also is like she has that kind of feeling. So she's able to acknowledge. It's not that she's blind about it. She knows all that, and she tells also yes, and she was agreed also. At the same time, she's able to think coolly that whatever your mother is telling is actually truth. You do follow that. So this requires. So Maharaj was saying this requires this requires a devotee to do that. So only the devotee with the right attitude can do this. Who is really inclined to make progress in this. So whatever corrections are coming from different people. So you are saying that if some authorities give our correction, those who are understanding us, those who are well-wisher of us, we understand their well-wisher. To take correction from them is more easy. It's not that difficult. We can take it. But it becomes very difficult for somebody, who is trying to find fault with us, who's trying to just, live on longer about us, or just being envious sometimes. So you're sending them then to keep that mood of if there is truth in that, then I can accept it. Right? So you are saying, immediately the response is to follow the Holy One. Who are you to speak this? You're saying this is only in normally inevitable thing. Who are you to speak? Who are you to think like this about me? Like that. So you're saying, but a devotee will have a second thought. He will think, he will not, he might be agree, he may also feel bad, but he will think, oh, if there is something good for his spoken, then better to take it. That is like Maharaj, I gave two examples. So he took it up. So he was saying two things. So two things happen. One thing is that we will get help because what truth is spoken, and if we can recognize it, then we improve also. We can. And second thing is that we also develop humility. That also brings kind of humility in us, and that pleases Krishna. So we get blessings of Lord also. And he said third thing also, the person may also become more informed because when he sees that we are not trying to do that and fight against, because that may make the situation much bad. It's like Daksha and Shiva. Of course, Shivji did not, but from the side of Shivji's followers, they counterattacked and became like too much that way. So, but here in this case, you can find that how. So if one takes humble growth, then the other person also change the attitude towards devotees. There's a possibility there. They're saying that way there are no three benefits. Three benefits are there. And he was saying that so mainly when it comes from somebody who may be a bit envious of we feel analytical or just trying to find fault. So then basically he was saying that he said Maharaj Rani not to take on fault. Don't take on fault, take it as it. If there is a truth, take it. Because that will be the benefit also. We are serious about making advancement, then we keep that attitude. So it was quite not so easy. You're saying it's not easy, but this is how here Suniti is behaving, and he's guiding human like that. So he was saying, in the path of devotional service, you have to have open, and in fact, one should be able to thank the person. He was saying that way. And also, he was saying that even if it is spoken in a bitter way, and he is speaking in a fault-finding way, but still one should be able to see something. If there is some truth, you can accept it. And he was saying that the envy, he was saying two ways the envy comes. So he says that if we are, given some kind of dispraise or some faults are being seen, then we become very upset. So that is one thing he was saying. This is a sign. So actually, you're saying when we so why? Because there is some kind of anger within us also towards the person, somebody with an envious or fun. Then we also so that means so what that's what she's saying that you don't become envious. You don't keep any inauspicious feelings for it. So if others become envious, then we also tend to act enviously. That way. So that's why I was saying that when our say Hindi was saying that हमारी निंदा जब होती है, when people are criticizing or having any kind of insult or things like that, then we become very upset, very very upset. And when we want to also take revenge, right? So we will become angry. That's natural, because we may feel naturally bad. Like here, Suniti also felt bad, and Dhruva also was angry. But instruction is that one does not try to keep that envious, inauspicious feelings. One should curb that. That's what Maharaj is saying. We should curb it. So, but the otherwise tendency is that eat karwa, we are pointing to that. And then he's saying second thing is that so that's all the envy. It starts taking a little sweet side and then it starts growing. Then you want to take revenge. And second thing is that when we are glorified, then we actually are very eager. We delight it. So he was saying that actually when we are glorified, then we should hear, we can hear that glorification with some suspicion. We should not believe it. We should not believe it. So like I was appreciating Sarvamaya Maharaj in New York. Maharaj, when you dance, you can defeat even the youngsters in dancing. He said, thank you for your words, but if I believe in your words, it will not be good for me. I don't understand clearly. But later I was relating. Okay. Maharaj doesn't want to believe that. It's not good for me. I don't know what way he said. It's not good for me. So basically when we are glorified, then he is saying that we should have some suspicion. What glorification is there? That is because he is a Vaishnava, he is a nice man. So he is very. But it's not that, my guna ka sagar ho gaya. So we can have some suspicion about it. Think that it is because of his generosity he is glorified. But he's saying, but if others are glorified in front of any other Vaishnava, then he's saying, then we should immediately accept it. Then we should not have suspicion. But I know what this fellow is. So we can have suspicion about our own perception about it. Instead of having suspicion on that appreciation. And they can think, maybe I did not properly understand. Devotee has a good heart for it. So we can have suspicion on our own perception. And we can accept that. We can accept it. And and you're saying that way, the more you're free from envy, you become very happy hearing the appreciation for other devotees. So for others' glorification, you become very eager. So yeah, so in essence, he said this. And then one more point he's saying that one philosophical point what she spoke that anybody who aggrieves, pains someone, then he also responds. Accordingly, he also gets the dose of pain. So we don't have to become like a person who is supposed to give punishment or pain. I got pain, so I will give you pain. So then we become vindicated also. So we are saying that everybody is responsible for their own actions. So we don't have to. We have to understand Lord is responsible. Lord is there. Lord is watching everyone's action. Lord is not who is the ultimate shelter and father of it. So it is his responsibility. He will take care. So we don't have to become, because our role is that we don't have to become further envious, because that will implicate us. That will involve that we should not take the law in our hands. So basically, we are saying that everyone is responsible for his own act. So he was giving an example like, if suppose somebody murders, so he should get mrityu from the state law as per Manu Samhita. If he doesn't get that, punishment of having death, then what happens? In the next life, he'll suffer more. But if he gets punishment of death, he gets death sentence, and he dies in that life as a atonement for his murder. So then he is not suffer next life. So, but if he doesn't get, then the suffering is doubled or more in the next life. He has to go to hell also, a lot of suffering. So actually, it is not mercy on the side of government if they don't punish him to give him that sentence. So it is not mercy. Actually, it is cruelty. Yes. So that means if that is not given, but then he suffer more also. So he is responsible for it. And second, he was saying that in this regard that sometimes it is required. We may have to give correction if we are really having that position, and it is good for the devotee. He was giving an example: your parents may have sometimes correct, and that may bring some kind of unhappiness in the child. He's saying, but that is for the sake of good for him. It's an act of mercy. So with that right attitude, with the right consciousness, and in the right position, one can offer. Because that will not be mercy if you just leave everybody like that. So there is a scope of giving correction and helping others to reform with somebody has the right authority and with the right attitude, and as an act of mercy when we do that. And then also other person may feel like sometimes the child may feel bad. Why my father is doing like this? There's anything but that has to be done sometimes, because otherwise that will be act of cruelty also, because you're not doing your duty at that time. So you are saying that way the double dose will come. Suppose you not got that punishment, then more punishment. So that way, we can sometimes have to give that correction also. But in general, one should not try to inflict pain on others. We be very careful. Unnecessarily, we should not give pain to devotees. Very careful, because we pain unnecessarily, and becoming envious of and give pain, then we all get indicated. So there is something from this today's some discussions, and so also I was thinking this Dhruv Maharaj's character is so beautiful, and it is so important for us to remember Dhruv Maharaj and his activities and his surrender, the way he took it up. So I was thinking some of the very vital things what we can learn from Dhruv Maharaj. The very first thing which comes in our mind is from Dhruv Maharaj's life. What is that? Yes. What is it? Determination, actually. So he was so determined. Eventually, it will come. The kind of determination. Radheshan will show that video. Yoga study or that video advanced. So the way Dhruv Maharaj takes up the chanting of with the Lord, devotional austerity. So it's like unmatchable. And because of that, in 6 months, he got the darshan of the Lord. So tremendous determination, Dhruv Maharaj. So I was thinking recently that how. But the point is that there's so many, I think Gauranga was saying, there's so many, examples are there in the scriptures. So if we are wanting to get help, just trying to search in the scriptures, you can find so much of it. So many devotees are there, who are living, and they can help and they can bless us with their qualities. So recently, when devotee was sharing that, he gave a lecture in some place, and he said that I heard a lecture of the church in Maharaj, and he gave a lecture for very. And then he was making a point that, oh, I heard that lecture, and I felt the blessing of that Maharaj, and that's why it could come out well. And then I was thinking about it's true, because even though we are hearing audio lecture, but because we are taking shelter of that Vaishnava, so we sound vibration, and God knows it. So you actually get blessed by that personality. Where that personality is blessing you. So when we are connecting with this personality in pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are remembering them, praying to them, so actually their blessings are there for us. We shouldn't think that they're bygone people, they're dead. That is not a right thing. Correct? That's what he says, no, also. Those who think that Vaishnavas are dead, Vaishnavas are gone. That's not the right way. Because they're always there. They live in their instructions, they live in the sound. And there this personality is still existing. Like Dhruva Maharaj is still existing. Raghava Kripa is still there. So just by receiving their instructions, very personally, remembering them, glorifying them, appreciating them, and trying to pray, how can I also be in my life? It can help us a lot. And we see that one devotee shared with me, sorry, Chaitanya, my good friend, PTC days. So he'd always say that whenever in morning prayer I feel down or chanting, I feel down, I remember my spiritual master, Prabhupada, and then I go a little more. And soon I go, like I start thinking like this, I'm fully rejuvenated. I have full enthusiasm in chant. You would say that. So I really like that one. You're saying that just by remembering this personality, I get into that. So it was very nice. So much of determination to Maharaj. He heard from his mother, he got instruction from Nagini, and he took it up so seriously. And he could perfect his life in 6 months like that. And second thing is, if you see, Narada gave two things, holy name, and also he told him to remember the past name. He gave two instruction. And told that and also he said that you make a deity and worship the deity also. So he gave holy name, he told worship the deity, glorify, and also hear and remember the past name. This instruction Narada gave. And by doing that, and he very sincerely did that. So in our life also, we have this three aspects very visibly in our life. We have deity worship. Our whole life centered on deity. Prabhupada has given us deity. And we are given God the holy name. We are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamana. And we are also having lot of opportunity to remember the past names. So many wonderful past names in Bhagavatam, so many devotees are writing beautiful past names. So we can take advantage of this. Only thing is, as I said in the beginning, we should take it with full heart. And with great determination, we should just spend our life doing these three things. Being with holy name, being with always getting the holy name of the Lord, and also make our life centered on deity. Like, so deity should become the center of our life. We are so blessed, that every temple. Think about it. I was thinking other day, that if suppose in our temple deity will not have been there, how the life would have been? It's like just think about it. There is no deity. I mean, we can connect with holy name, but how much? We need deity actually. So, and Narada Muni also told to have deity. So he made it. Of course, whatever the available he made from earth, and whatever the available he said that Deshkala Prasthik is mentioned. Accordingly to time and circumstances, you can offer the flute and whatever he said. Then Prabhupada makes a statement that how Western countries may not be available as per what may be given in the scriptures, but still one should offer whatever pure items locally available. We can do that. But he did tell him to do the deity worship also. So holy name is there, deity worship is there. Same thing you can think about life without holy name. And life without holy fame of the Lord. Wonderful past names we hear. So many wonderful narrations. So it is very beautiful opportunity to absorb ourselves in spiritual life. Yesterday, Gauranga was so much emphasizing on absorption. And I've seen in lecture, he always talks about Haridas Thakur's absorption. He always speaks, Krishna Nama Vishtama Asura Haridas. How he is, and Nirvikar Haridas, Asya Gambhir, he says always this. Asya Gambhir, yes, he can Gambhir, Asya and he becomes Nirvikar. So absorption in Krishna consciousness. And also another point he said about the day should begin with solitude, where you are connecting. So it begin becoming absorbed in connecting that spiritual reality. So it's very vital that we work on this absorption. So I was thinking that how, if we work on this, trying to absorb ourselves in holy name, in holy fame of the Lord, and serving the deities. So it's like fire. So more you focus on fire, the smoke will go away. Like that. So they are getting this all gifts in Krishna consciousness like fire. So if you hold on to them, if you determinedly will take to them, then smoke goes away. Smoke is all kinds of illusion, bewilderment, clutter, and all that which we face struggle with, all the dualities, etc. So that can, get subsided. More we, increase the fire, more we increase the absorption in this spiritual things like that. So that's why we can take these lessons. Of Dhruv Maharaj, how he was very determined way to this of holy name, and deity worship also. And then third thing I was thinking that Dhruv Maharaj was fortunate to have right association. He went with the right people. He went with the Suniti. He went and then and because he was very sincere, then he got association of Narad Muni also. So because of the right association, he got the Supreme. So that's the U-turn in the life of Dhruv Maharaj. He was so affected, everything. He got the right association, he got benefited so much. But if somebody doesn't get the right association, he gets a bad association, then it becomes a problem. Right? You can see how Ravana, he got affected by bad association of Shripada. And ministers also. So much bad association. So he did not, in fact, good association was there also. The vision was there, but he did not take that association. And he chose to hear them on. So bad association, will never lead us to the right direction. So he chose the right association. I mean, of course, he got the right association. He was very sincere. Mother Sumiti was there. He went to the right person. And then Narad Muni also came in life. So that way he got the heart. Any other example where somebody did not take the bad association? He got another example. Yeah, the Drashta also. Vidra was there, but he did not take it. He was always being attached to the religion, hearing them. Karna. Karna. Yes. Yes, but still he did not take it. And here you can see, now we can see the episode how the mother gave the right guidance. Very beautiful guidance she gives. And then even Narad Muni gives the right guidance. So that's amazing, this thing about Dhruv Maharaj, like that. And then also Dhruv Maharaj did not think that, okay, I've got the right knowledge, I've got the right philosophy, I've got the right guidance, I will do it. Dhruv Maharaj felt sense of urgency. He immediately left with the past. Immediately started executing the instructions. So this is another important thing. And if you see the life of this great devotees, they take that in an urgent basis. Chaitanya Maharaj, when he got second episode, when he was got the instruction from Narad Muni and Giriraj Muni. Later, after the son died, took it very seriously. Ajamila, as he took it very seriously. Within some years he perfected it. Muchkunda Maharaj was really great. And our Khatwan Maharaj. Khatwan Maharaj took it up very seriously. So you can see how the urgency is something which is what is the constant phenomenon. These great souls, they don't postpone it. And if somehow in their life they have postponed, they have lamented. Heavily they have lamented. To teach us, you don't waste your time. You take it on an urgent basis. Krishna consciousness should be taken on an urgent basis. It should not be like, I will do it later. So, okay, we have got everything, then why delay? Why not take it on an urgent basis? So we can learn from Maharaj that how he took it up immediately. Same thing in Narada also. As soon as he got the news that mother died, immediately he took it up. Went to the north, went for meditation and perfected the life. So he took it up urgent way. And then we also see Dhruv Maharaj kept that mood of being vulnerable. You see, when Dhruv Maharaj later, so here he was ready to accept guidance. But he was vulnerable. He was very affected. And then he took the guidance and he followed it. And then Narada Muni also, he was telling him, I am not able to take the path because I am aggrieved and I am Kshatriya. He told all that. He told his weakness. And then give me the honest path by which I can worship the Supreme Lord and get my. So later Dhruv Maharaj lamented for it. That why did I at all desire something, material? But still, the point is that he was ready to accept the guidance. Even though he found difficulty with the first discussions, but still he was feeling vulnerable and I'm having weakness, and he told, and he took the guidance further also. And then he took it up seriously. Then he got the, and second episode you see when Yaksha, when later when he had to fight against Yaksha because Uttama was killed. So he took it up so badly that he wanted to wipe off the whole Yaksha, all the community of Yaksha. That time also, Kubera came in. Kubera and Brahma also. Kubera came. So then he, they told, and then he accepted that. So he told him that don't become excessively angry. So even though he has got the darshan, now he is Dhruv Maharaj, but still he took advice. So the other thing I was thinking that how a devotee always, feels himself that no matter what stage I am, I should always be, be ready to accept if there is any kind of correction because I am vulnerable. It's not that even if I am very advanced, we may think we are. So it's not that we are always um, are having a susceptibility to Maya. So we should always be guided. Guidance should always be there. There is no stage when we don't have to have guidance. Guidance is always should be there. We should be very happy to accept. Nirmala is so accomplished, but he did not think I know what I am. He could have said, but he immediately took pause and he thought. Same way you can find Prithu Maharaj and Indra also. Prithu Maharaj and Indra fight. So Prithu Maharaj also immediately accepted. Immediately. He did not like argue or something. He Lord said, but he accepted. Same way you find so this way I can see. So immediately they accept it. They don't like delay. They accept because they understand that I need guidance. They're understanding it. And also, Dhruv Maharaj was willing to take any austerity to achieve the Lord. That's another thing. Because when you are determined, you are feeling urgency, you are taking the shelter of holy name, holy fame, and deities, and right association, everything is there. But at the same time, to follow the path of devotion service, there is some inconveniences for sure. But if you're willing to take up all of that, willing to take the austerity. So Dhruv Maharaj austerity also is very so much is very so austere. And Hiranyakashipu austerity also very but for the wrong cause. And his motive was to become the Malik of the Lord of the all universes. And Dhruv Maharaj was wanting even more also. He wanted to get greater kingdom and greater grandfather also. And he also did very similar also. So, but the point what I'm emphasizing is how he was willing to pay any cost to attain his goal. He was ready to take all aspects that way. So, and from today's episode, some more characters in Bhagavatam and other places where they did not further retaliate when other person became envious. You can see the example of Prithu Maharaj. He did not become envious of Indra. He said, don't do that and stop. Rather, he embraced in that. Same way Prahlad also did not retaliate that way. So his father was very envious. Durvasa Muni. So he wanted to kill Amrish, but he did not. He did not keep that inauspicious feelings. He immediately forget. Ramchandra Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to, he got so much excitement. But he is like my father. Same thing with Sarvam Bhattacharya. He is my relation. So he just took it the right thing. What is the truth in that? And just went on. In fact, there was no truth only. But still he took it in some positivity. So we are saying that Maharaj was very nice. He said, Adarsh Vichar, Adarsh Vyavahar. If we keep this in our community, then we will go very next. Like ideal thoughts and ideal behavior. So we have to reform our thoughts. We are saying this point. So this whole things I spoke about today, I was making this acronym DHRUPA. So D is determination, and S is the holy name, holy fame, and devotion. And R is right association. We got another association, Suniti, and the association of Narada. And U is urgent. Took it urgently, not like delay anything. V is vulnerable. You are felt vulnerable. You always need felt guidance. And vulnerable, I get guidance. First case also, before any perfection, he was feeling the need of guidance. When he attained perfection, still he was feeling the need of guidance. Still he took guidance. So he was always feeling being vulnerable. And last is A is austerity. So he was fixed up in his devotional austerities. No matter what cost is required to go back to God, I'm ready to pay the cost. That was the determination of him. really taking notes. So I'll pause here. Darshan Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki. Any one point in this, I will over time. Take two things. Coming from one person. What is like this thing? What is what is for? Other is like but it's picture. And he said this Maharaj was that also don't feel inauspicious and feel have well-wishing feeling. Even that person. So it's like one thing is not very inauspicious, but have a think good about it. That's not it. Because we immediately mind with this person is envious of me or this one. He's envy of me. So not to take it, but think good about it. What I understand, this principle what Maharaj told that we discussed, it is very important to think about it. But sometimes, as you said, in the spur of the moment, it's not so easy also. Because we lack that humility, we lack sometimes that kind of understanding. One thing I feel is we can have our space and we can put ourselves under the guidance of some maturity. We can have our, so we don't have to immediately react in those situations. We can take our space and put ourselves in some good association of the maturity. So instead of acting and just getting into that warfare, instead of that, better to put ourselves in the hand of the maturity and try to be pacified. Just like here, what's happening with Yuva. He did not immediately, he was very happy, very angry. But what he did, he went to his mother and he was having that same guidance in his own space. So he come out of that palace and he was there in that space. His mother is there and he was ready to hear what's next. So sometimes we get into that situation and start doing a lot of things. So what we could do is, like yesterday also some incident happened where I was later reflecting. I should have first isolated myself from that. And I would have got better thoughts about how I have dealt. But sometimes at the spur of the moment you just want to overreact. You want to do many things. What comes that anger. That's why the thing is, what the advice is basically take a pause, and go to some light association where you have time to reflect and think enter their guidance. See, when we are agreed, being just separating is not a solution. You separate yourself and you have no right guidance, you may get more into depression. It may more problematic because it's like a poison, it is eating you up. So we need to go to a doctor. Some poison has come, go to a doctor. You can have your space, isolate yourself from that, come out of that, go to a doctor and be in this custody and illuminate yourself. Because we have to keep ourselves, because this kind of negative, inauspicious feelings, it's like a poison. It won't help us to take shelter next. A lot of problems come from it. It is better to have that space and take shelter of some mature restaurants, so we can guide us in the understanding instead of getting at all toxic things. So here, same example here, Dhruv is actually doing the same thing. He was very angry and all, but he could have done many things. He could have just spoken harsh words to his mother, or done something to his father, things like that. He was so devastated, but he just came to Suniti. And then Suniti took care of him. So practical way, we can get that time hear our spiritual master lectures, go to a room, hear a lecture first. And if the spiritual master is available, we can go and meet him. If not, then some senior devotees whom we can talk to them, spend some time and let the time pass. Immediately you don't have to too much do a lot of things. But I mean, I'm also struggling. I don't say I do, I follow the action. But I think this ways we can help ourselves. But I might. You have any final question? Your point that mindset living on but here if you so many times Mm. Yes. You understand anything? You understand anything? All right, thank you. Janta Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki. Sorry? So you know, you take no water, because it's a big water, like no water. You take a water from the sun. Sometimes you don't have the chance to take a water. Because the thing is an answer. Hmm. In that case, I feel one thing that surely what my understanding is immediately we should avoid reacting. And it requires some kind of maybe you have to get some little bit burn because of our nature to overreact. And but if you can learn it quickly, it's good. But I feel many people who are more sober and mature, they don't react immediately. So that's at least I observe that. So it doesn't nothing good happens if we immediately overreact. Generally it doesn't come out very good. But if you take a pause, then it gives us some time, to not increase our poison, but time to reflect with the right association. That's why the two things are important. Taking pause is not sufficient. You have to take a pause, delay that. At the same time, very sincerely seek the right association. Because the right association is not there, then that poison may increase also. For harbor more bad things. Sometimes you remember that time you don't feel bad. Later remember more. See, he said this. Oh, why is it? That is endless something. That is mind can take sometimes more. It can cook up more things. It can create more poisons. Taking pause is not the solution ultimately, but taking a pause gives us the time to take right. That's how it is good. So taking right decision is very important. So we need that right decision, right guidance. Then only we can handle our life situation. That is the principle. So now when we are in the spur of the moment, then we are not having that buddhi parivartishtite. That buddhi is not comes so steady. It's not just fixed in us. Like Amrish Maharaj had that fixity. He could immediately have no feelings of previousness towards Durvasana. But we may get some kind of inauspicious feelings or some negativity, some poison. So then taking a pause, understanding that I need to get some association and guidance to handle this. It's not easy. So then we look for some good association. So taking a pause is important. So if you're not able to do it, you have to little bit get some burn, and then eventually you may want to do it. But it's always good as well. I also struggle. I also overreact, and then I let to reflect my emotions.
Like today, I was talking to myself and I just took a pause within myself and that I think to an extent she would understand because we are all thinking, we are all following that same knowledge, right? But I think when you're in the material world and stuff, material people, then if you're in a conversation and you are like, okay, I need to just pause and not react, that means I need to go to silence mode. And then the opposite person is not on the spiritual journey. So then they think it's offensive. They think that, oh, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm just like looking honestly. Yeah. But that is something that I think people like me who live with material food, right? But I'm on a spiritual journey. I think we struggle with it constantly, whether personal, professional, goals, right?
One thing we can think about is with materialist, we can always tell the boundaries. I feel so. I don't know how practical you are going to relate to it, but the point is, like sometimes see even their emotions are very unstable because as you said they're not much spiritual journey. So their mind is like it can go anyway. They can feel apologetic. They can become very offensive. It can go in any way. We don't know. But what we can do is we can put ourselves in good connection, good association. That will be us. And Lord is there in their heart. We are doing the right thing, so Lord will make them. That faith we should. And yes, we can tell that no, actually whatever you said and all that, it's fine. But I'm just trying to create some. I want time first my own. Yeah. So we can communicate in case it is possible. If not, people are not understanding, we cannot do much. One thing, but we can do the right thing of taking proper association. That we can. And whatever recuperation happens, you will become more angry or things like that. Just let the time pass. As you increase your devotional strength and as you become more aligned, your life is becoming more auspicious. And that will bring some auspicious to their life. Because somebody is too engaged, they said keep distance. You cannot take too much try to deal and rectify. You don't have to rectify every situation. What we can do is we can grow ourselves. Because not everybody is not ready for things like suppose somebody has some tussle with you. Now you may want to separate it, but their person is not ready. What can you do? So you have to just keep yourself aligned in your spiritual journey and keep going. That only way. That's not. And you can pray for that person. And that maybe God is making that arrangement to make us more humble, to make us more disciplined. But the point is, not all situations we never do separate. We know that we are not in control. The Lord is in control. But in the long run, it is beneficial. In the long run, that engaged person also will be good.
Get
Because Lord actually wants us to learn lessons. In the whole episode, we have to know God is there. God is there in my heart, God is there in and Lord, you'll be amazed sometimes, how the Lord in the heart of other person makes him understand. Sometimes I talk to my family members thinking that I'll give some time and then they'll be more happy and all. Sometimes become more bad. But when you don't too much worry about that, you focus on devotional service, sometimes they behave more good without your expectation. How would happen, I also don't know. So the point is, we have to know that I'm not the controller. Who's controlling their mind? Mind is being controlled by material energy and the Lord. Ultimately, Lord through material energy. But we cannot control the mind. Then that is their choice. They are putting themselves in. But we can work on ourselves. And as you said, different people may come in our life. So we have to take it as how Lord wants me to learn this with all of them. If we keep that mood, then we always keep going. So that's why we have to just think about how I can make advancement. And We are not indifferent to them. We pray. We can pray for them because um, we cannot like manipulate them. We cannot control their free will. That free will is their free will. So we can only wish well for them. When Krishna gives them their free will. Otherwise, why Krishna is allowing people to eat meat and drink and so many things they are doing? They have a free will. Krishna respects the free will. He doesn't want them free will, but he respects their free will. But he has having broad plan to bring them also. He has a broad plan. So material energy is that way working. To give them some lessons and get them back. And Krishna is always ready to do this, sending the devotees and so on. So we have to know that ultimately God is in control, and I have to learn my lessons for going back to God. In every situation, we have to see that kind of God. How Lord wants me to live here, become humble, become God. Otherwise, we'll never get that lessons. We'll never to think about applying that because some situation has to be created. Then only we will think about applying it. Otherwise, it's very easy to be humble. I'm alone in my room. I can be very humble. I can be very tolerant. But humility tolerance, Krishna has to create a situation. Then we will be exposed how intolerant I am, how I lack, how ego, how envy, other things. Before I think that, no, I don't have any envy for Lord. You say that, or because when we have come this, I don't really accept it. I don't have envy for God. But as you progress in spiritual life, you understand how envy manifests in different ways. Like today we discussed some points. Yeah, it's nothing like that. So slowly we understand. So that's why we have to always see Krishna consciousness from the perspective of how I help myself, and how Lord is helping me. So that way we focus and we remain, we keep auspicious feeling for others. That's why Jagannath said, always chant Hare Krishna, never criticize others. Two things if we do is better. Chanting Hare Krishna means all things, devotion service. Never criticize means don't have any inauspicious feeling for others. You do these two things and you can do that. But all these things are tough things. I accept it. I'm speaking, but and I also study. But this is what we have to remind each other and learn and try to grow. You keep failing. Sometimes you think about it, read about it, and that day only you fail. Happens like that. Somebody will say something and you overreact. It happens. But the thing is that you become humble also. You say that now I was thinking what and now again. So let me pray to Lord more. This is how devotee is always thinking and always reflecting, and we can keep going. And with devotees, please, as you said rightly, the devotees are always more, so those are spiritual journey, they also get time, then they also get form. So that is advantage when with devotees, among devotees. So that we have more reasons to take a pause and keep respect. Because that time gives them time also. Sometimes you find that devotee also becomes apologetic very quickly. Sometimes if you just get into conversation, cut becomes problem. But that devotee you give time, he also knows that the Lord makes him understand. He is also sincere. So Lord will also help him understand. You should have confidence. So it becomes more easy to reconcile sometimes. But don't expect always. So there will be always some tough situations God will put. And maybe some true devotees also. And you don't know why it is. He's a nice devotee, but why it is this way? That may happen. Switzerland, what are they?
I think that is if you want to and they do feel that experience and I think the whole fact they say that if you learn something about it, even if the thing themselves they say that they only they are I have a
You're saying in material life also, it's mirror means there also you can learn these things.
Yes.
Even though it is material life, but still you can learn.
Things happen here, but things feel a similar kind of things at home. Just an event which technically is being created because you need to learn something. I personally learn something.
Krishna puts us in different situations, different ways. Material life, because for Krishna is not like he's a materialized life. Krishna is using the whole